Yeah.
Hang on. Just
Take your time. I'm not in any hurry. Dude, so a buddy of mine, Billy, came by earlier this afternoon to drop off some money for my roommate. And like he could have just rang the doorbell or called me and said, "Hey, I'm coming." Just dropping some stuff off for Matt, letting you know. No, dude, he's creeping around the house. Like he comes to the front door and he's just going to leave an envelope there, but he doesn't leave it at the door. So I hear the storm door open out front and I'm like, who's here? And I like look out in the window. I don't recognize the car. I don't see anybody. And then I start hearing somebody doing something around the garage door. And I'm like, what is going on? And finally, I saw him get back in his car and I realized this is my buddy Billy. And I'm like, dude, just ring the doorbell. You don't have to, you have to be weird about it.
That's how you almost get shot. I spent $35 on a new hat this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's a lot for a hat.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I spent 35. Yeah. I almost bought a Grizzlies hat. But to be fair, I spent 25. And Renee said, why didn't you get the fitted hat I wanted? And I was like, well, it was 35. She was like, stop being a cheapskate. Go back and get the fitted hat. I was like, okay.
Almost bought a Barons hat the other night.
Well, they really had a Grizzlies hat I wanted, but my thought was I can get the fitted hat at the they basically had the same fitted hat here in Memphis, and I want to go to I got it at Lids.
Yeah,
never need an Auburn hat, man. Go to Lids. They got a much better selection than the Bama Fever store. Do what?
Yeah, we used to have a Lids. We don't anymore.
Sure you do, man. It's down at the Galleria.
Yeah, I ain't going to the Galleria for that.
No, we were down there for something else.
Cool. You got the intro ready to go?
No, I was looking at the Spider-Man book.
Oh, okay. Take your time.
I'm going to bring this up during the. We'll talk about it during the story rather than the review. How much do we want to delve into our personal lives on this show, or do we just want to keep it light and fun?
What did you have in mind?
Oh, how much I've been working on the website and how screwed up my personal life has been the last month.
If you want to go into it, man.
Sure. I'm asking.
I don't mind. I don't care. It's our podcast. We can do what we want to. I don't care if you go into it or not.
I mean, do we want to keep it light and fun, or do we want to,
we can go wherever you want to.
Well, I'm asking your opinion.
Well, it was gonna be the intro, and then I was gonna say something along the lines of testing your Marvel Universe knowledge, and we're gonna take the quiz and then jump into the books. At least I figured. But if you want to talk about doing the website, we can.
Think about it.
We can do both. We got time. Only got a few books.
All right, hit it. I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this. Hit it.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 month behind podcast for the week of 4/10/17. I'm Pat.
And I am Sean.
And we're here to discuss everything in the Marvel Unlimited universe, where Stan Lee and Jack Kirby are rolling over in their graves for the state of everything that is Marvel Comics.
I hope Stanley's not rolling over in his grave.
Well, that's true. Stan's just kind of, in his recliner, signing books, making money, and, wondering what happened if he can remember.
He seems pretty sharp, man. I'm sure he remembers just fine.
I don't know if he's as sharp as he, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, they're both probably a little embarrassed at the state of Marvel Comics at the moment.
Yeah, they can't do anything right, man. They just, they just keep.
They can make movies.
They can make movies.
Yeah. But the publishing aspect, no, not so much.
The comic book side is kind of.
Yeah, if you listen to our one shot episode, we talked about the whole diversity thing, and then they've just kind of kept stepping in it this week. There was another controversy with one of their artists. Yeah. That one I'll understand a little more than the diversity thing. The guy was putting anti-Semitic messages into the art. But if you bought X-Men, what was it, Blue #1 or Gold #1? X-Men Gold #1, you got a collector's item, my friend.
I didn't. I got X-Men Prime and I got X-Men Blue. I didn't get X-Men Gold.
Yeah, all of them have been changed by now. So
yeah, you know what? I was asking Jason, when's he going to get another copy that's been changed? He doesn't even know when he's going to get another copy, man. He said once the story hit, literally people just came in and snatched them up within like an hour.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. I probably couldn't find an issue at Bob's either.
No, man. Once it hit, people just ran in and snatched them up.
And knowing Bob, he's probably slapped a $6.99 price tag on it.
If he didn't just hide them all for himself.
Yeah, that's a possibility too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put him on his eBay site.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a few books to discuss this week, but before we get to that, Pat, we know that you've been reading Marvel Comics for a long time.
Yes.
And you have a great, vast knowledge of the Marvel comic universe.
I do. Well, let's test this knowledge. Test it. Before we do that, the email is
6monthsbehind@gmail.com. You can visit our website.
The website is www.6monthsbehind.com. Now, here's why we're going to test the knowledge. Okay. There's two parts to this. And here's what it did, okay? And we've talked about this the last couple of weeks. And this is like become a disaster, okay? And we're going to test my knowledge because it's like a two-part test, okay? Because some things I remember and some things I don't. Because I tore the website apart. And I started rebuilding the website. And then I started trying to get, every month I publish I publish a blog that's got the alternate covers in it. Well, there's like 120 alternate covers this month, man. There's like Champions alternate covers and Civil War alternate covers and 53 Black Panther alternate covers. And there's Death of X alternate covers. At this point, I've got like almost all of them there. And I'm actually going to post them tonight because I'm down to like 15 or 20 left to publish.
Yeah.
So I get it torn apart, and I start doing the alternate covers. And, of course, every week we got to read 23 books.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a car accident, and I get another concussion. Okay, now we've joked about my concussions, all right? We've joked about my brain damage. Well, as you know, I really did have a serious concussion.
Yeah, you did.
It was so serious, I got to work, it didn't know what day it was, and had trouble remembering things. Got sent home from work, went to the doctor, and failed the concussion protocol. Failed it as in didn't know what 100 minus 73 was. Here was one of the questions. Cat, dog, house, lion, which one doesn't fit? I couldn't answer the question. Okay. Yeah, really. I mean, that's how screwed up my brain was. That led to a week laying around on the couch, which led to more migraines, which led to the website and everything just kind of falling apart. All the while, we're still reading 20 some odd comic books a week. I'm trying to put the website back together. I'm trying to get all these alternate covers published. So if you've been to the website, it's like you and I were talking about it driving home. I'm just almost there, man. I've just almost got it finished. I've almost got the alternate covers done. I've almost got it there. Now, as a final exam, we're going to test my Marvel knowledge. Here we go.
All right. So I found this quiz on CBR. and we're going to test your Marvel knowledge. First question:
Yes.
Miguel O'Hara was this hero?
Miguel O'Hara. Oh, Spider-Man.
Okay, that's correct.
That's easy.
An older version of this Avenger ruled the world in Future Imperfect.
The Hulk.
Which one?
What do you mean? Which one? Bruce Banner.
Okay, you're right. Which TV mutant created Age of Apocalypse and the Age of X?
Which TV mutant?
Yeah.
Which TV mutant created the Age of Apocalypse? Which TV mutant created the Age of Apocalypse and the Age of X? Well, it wouldn't be Mojo.
Do you want your choices?
Is it Mojo, Longshot?
You
give me multiple choice.
Kid Omega, Magneto, Phoenix, or Legion?
I'm going to go with Legion.
Correct. Long before his critically acclaimed TV series, Legion single-handedly created 2 alternate realities. In 1995, David Haller famously created the Age of Apocalypse by accidentally killing his father, Charles Xavier, in the past.
Oh,
in
that's
2011,
right.
Legion created another world in Mike Carey, Clayman, and Steve Kurth's crossover Age of X. After a failed attempt to cure Legion unleashed a dark new personality, Haller unwittingly created the Age of X.
I remember that. Okay. All right, next question.
You're 3 for 3 so far. Question number 4. In one universe, the Punisher was taken over by this symbiote.
I want to say Contest of Champions, but I don't think that's right.
No, the question is the symbiote.
Venom?
Is that your final answer?
Or that, whatever he's technically called. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, all right, sure. That's my final answer.
You're correct. In one of many realities glimpsed in the alternate reality anthology What If, the Punisher bonded with the Venom symbiote in 1992's What If number 44 by Kurt Busiek and Luke McDonald.
There you go.
This powerful team destroyed several parallel Earths.
Oh, Thanos and his guys. I can't. It was Thanos and the Submariner and Terex the Farmer and Black Swan.
Okay, but what is that group called?
I can't remember.
Okay, your choices are the Defenders, the Secret Avengers, the Mighty Avengers, or the Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
That's correct. We saw that in the lead up to Secret Wars. Which universe is Miles Morales from?
Ultimate Universe.
Correct.
I was trying to remember the number for it, but I can't remember the number.
1092. This team tried to create a utopia on their homeworld. I don't actually know this one.
I want to say the Squadron Supreme, but that's not right.
Actually, it is correct.
Really?
Created by Roy Thomas and John Buscema in 1971's Avengers number 85, the Squadron Supreme were Marvel's dark analogies to DC's Justice League. After a few tangles with the Avengers, the Squadron starred in a landmark 1985 miniseries by Mark Grunwald and Paul Ryan.
That miniseries is really good.
Is it?
It really is.
Question number 8. In one world, the 1990s never ended for this team. This one's easy.
I don't remember. Oh, X-Men 92.
There you go. Question number 9. Which 2014 story featured Spider-Man and his alternate reality counterparts?
Spider-Verse.
Yep, that is correct. Also very good read if you haven't read it. Which hero draped himself in a flag on Earth X?
I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking about the JLA Earth X and Superman. Well, that was a JLA story. Earth X.
They both had. This was Marvel's version of that same story. They both came out around the same time too.
I have no idea.
Hawkeye, American Dream, Winter Soldier, or Captain America?
I'm going to say Winter Soldier, but that's a complete guess.
That is incorrect. The answer is Captain America. After co-creating DC's Dark Tomorrow and 1994's Kingdom Come, Alex Ross turned to Marvel's future with 1999's Earth X. So
I didn't read that.
I read it a long time ago.
I don't think I've ever read it.
In Here Comes Tomorrow, this X-Man was possessed by a sentient bacterium. You want your choices?
Oh, I thought that was number 10. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't realize the first question. Here we go.
Yeah, in Here Comes Tomorrow, this X-Man was possessed by a sentient bacterium.
I have no idea.
Angel, Chamber, Beast, or Daken?
No idea.
You got four. You got four.
Let's go with Angel.
Okay. It was Beast. At the end of Grant Morrison's landmark run on New X-Men, he and Mark Silvestri created the Here Comes Tomorrow timeline in 2005's New X-Men 151. In this world, Cyclops' decision to keep the Xavier Institute closed led to the rise of Beast, who is possessed by the sentient bacterium known as Sublime. It's
seriously don't remember it. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't either, and I love that Grant Morrison run.
Do not remember it, man.
Question number 12. These monsters eventually consumed other worlds.
Monsters, plural?
Yes.
Are we talking about Dark Phoenix or Galactus? I mean, what are we talking about here? Living planet?
Think closer to actual monsters.
I have no idea.
You got Marvel Vampires, Marvel Ghosts, Marvel Mummies, or Marvel Zombies?
No idea. I've never read any of the monsters books.
Okay, I'm gonna answer this one because I know it. It's Marvel Zombies.
Okay.
In this world, this Netflix hero joined S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers. Oh, I actually don't know if I know this one.
I don't know.
Jessica Jones, Claire Temple, Patsy Walker, or Colleen Wing?
I'm going to go with Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, that's correct. Okay. Yeah, she was Jewel in the Avengers. And then she became a S.H.I.E.L.D. liaison after the Purple Man attack.
Okay.
Which world is X-Man Nate Gray from? I don't know this one either. I think I might. Do you want your choices are the New Universe, Age of Ultron,
616,
Age of Apocalypse, or Marvel 2099?
Nate Gray?
Mm-hmm.
Nate, give me those choices again.
New Universe, Age of Ultron, Age of Apocalypse, or Marvel 2099?
Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Yeah. Nate Gray was that world's version of Cable. Because remember, Cable is from 616 and was sent back in time.
Right.
All right. In MC2, J2 was the son of this ex-villain.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either. Magneto, Juggernaut, White Queen, or Sebastian Shaw?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't either. You want to take a stab at it?
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to guess Juggernaut. Oh, I was right. That was a complete fluke.
Oh, there you go.
In 1998's What If number 105, Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends envisioned a future where Spider-Girl and other Marvel heroes had children and continued to fight against evil. Yeah, all right. Secretly, Peter Porker is this hero.
Spider-Man. Spider-Ham.
Yep, that is correct. Mutant X followed this mutant's extra dimensional adventures. So Mutant X was the series that followed which mutant?
No idea.
Cyclops, Chamber, Havoc, or Wolverine? I think it's
I would say Chamber.
I was going to say Havoc, but we'll go with Chamber. No, it was Havoc. In 1969's X-Men number 54, Havoc has usually been trapped in the shadow of his brother Cyclops. Yeah, it was a solo series in the 1998, I think. In Old Man Logan, Wolverine teamed up with this Avenger.
Hawkeye.
Yep, he was blind. In one world, this hero killed the Marvel Universe.
Well, there have been several heroes that killed the Marvel Universe, but the Hulk has done it. Deadpool's done it.
Punisher, Iron Fist, Daredevil, or Venom?
Punisher.
Yep, that is correct. Which mystical hero lost his head in 1602? I don't know this one either.
I don't know.
I've read 1602, but it's been forever.
I don't know.
You got Dr. Fate, Dr. Doom, Dr. Druid, or Dr. Strange?
Don't know.
I think it was Dr. Strange. I'm going to go with Dr. Strange. Hey, I was right.
There you go.
You missed 3 of the 20 questions, so your Marvel Universe knowledge is pretty good.
Well, there you go, man.
Yeah, fantastic.
See, I still got most of my brain.
Yeah, it's all full of Marvel knowledge instead of useful things, but that's how it goes.
Well, there you go, man.
Yeah.
Just still has useful things. He just forgets things occasionally.
Just occasionally.
Yeah.
So just to let you guys know, we do discuss the spoilers in these comic books coming up. We wanted to let you guys know because we're gonna spoil things. It's just gonna happen. So if you hadn't read them, pause here, come back later. We'll be here when you get back.
And this is really complicated because we're at the end of Civil War, and there's like books coming out, and Civil War's running late, and there's new books coming out, and just good luck.
Yeah, like Champions #1, all these other #1s that are coming out, they're all post Civil War, and Civil War is still not done. So yeah, that's well, we've talked about Marvel getting stuff shipped on time before.
Yeah. So, we're going to do our best not to tell you spoilers, but if we do, you have been warned.
So starting with the only Civil War tie-in that we had this week is Invincible Iron Man #14. So Tony's sitting around moping in his lab, watching the various TV coverage of the ongoing superhero conflict. They're talking about Clint Barton and the Hulk and, them fighting above the Triskelion. And he declares to MJ that he needs a meeting. And what he means by that is not a meeting with the president or Carol. He needs a AA meeting because Tony's an alcoholic and he's thinking about drinking. Problem is that Carol, who's also a recovering alcoholic, attends the same meeting that Tony does. So Tony just jets off to a random AA meeting he found online. And surprise, Carol shows up to the very same meeting. And both of them are incognito, so they don't immediately recognize each other. And it's only after Carol begins sharing her story about how the first thing she does in the morning is make sure that the world is still turning. Sounds familiar. And she recognizes Carol, and Tony walks out. And at that time, Carol realizes that's Tony Stark. So Carol follows him outside. She confronts him. And they initially start to argue about, did you follow me? Have you been spying on me? But Carol tells him, look, I came to this meeting because I didn't want to go to our regular meeting. And Iron Man's like, yeah, same thing. And they kind of bond for a second, and then they actually have a little heart to heart about what's going on. The two of them begin arguing about the current state of affairs, the whole conflict with the superheroes. why Tony believes he's right, why Carol believes she's right, all the people they've lost in the meantime. They both acknowledge that the next time they meet each other in the field, it's not going to be easy because they've both been pulling punches. Then we get a scene where Tony's mother goes to visit him at his company. Unfortunately, there's been a development and he won't be able to see her. And I don't know what that means, but yeah, I guess we'll find out at the end of Civil War.
This is the last issue of this book.
Yeah, it is. It's the last issue. They're going to immediately reissue Invincible Iron Man #1
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
As I was posting today, I saw it's coming out in 2 weeks. So, matter of fact, you can go look at the covers now.
Yeah.
There you go.
It wasn't half bad. The dialogue between Tony and Carol is really good.
I enjoyed the book. I did. And at first it seemed kind of far-fetched. But say where you live, if you and I both lived and got into Birmingham and we decided not to go to one AA meeting and looked up another, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that we would wind up at the same AA meeting.
Right. Even though we're trying to avoid one another.
Right. I mean, unless say we're both in Brooklyn, okay, or that part of New York that the Avengers Tower and the Triskelions in, and we say, okay, we're not going to this one and I need one at this time, so let's go to that one. Well, then you would wind up at the same meeting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So essentially, the premise seemed far-fetched when I first saw it, and then I got thinking about it. I thought, well, okay, maybe it's not that far-fetched. So, yeah. And the interchange between the two of them was good. It does leave you with some teasers for the end of Civil War. It was a very good book.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah. And some of these Iron Man books have been very bad recently, and this one was good.
Yeah, that was another nice surprise. And I'm looking forward to seeing, we get a small mention of Riri Williams in this book. I'm looking forward to that and the other Iron Man book coming out soon.
Yeah. Yep.
Moving on to the Spider-Man books, we got Amazing Spider-Man #19.
This was our last prequel to the Clone Saga, whatever we're calling it. It begins with Mr. Jameson in the hospital. His condition's deteriorating. Jonah is determined to use new technology to save his dad, and Peter is determined not to allow him to do so. Now, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
On page 4, we see the Jackal, and we see Professor Warren. Actually, we see multiple clones of Professor Warren.
Mm-hmm.
And there, out of nowhere, just there, long blonde hair, short skirt, the high boots, is Gwen Stacy.
I thought the same thing. When did she come around?
Dude, she's just there. No build up, no reveal, no nothing. She's just there.
And I was actually going to ask you, did I miss a book somewhere?
Nope.
But apparently not.
Nope. She's just there, dude.
So the Jackal just brought her back to life. Off screen, in between books, no fanfare at all about no last page reveal of Gwen Stacy, nothing.
No build up, no nothing. Just there's Gwen Stacy.
Well, that's real dumb. That was the big thing you were building up to with Dead No More, and you buried the lead.
I understand the last time we saw Gwen Stacy back, and we discussed this a while back in the Clone book number 148, 149, she just walks off. And now here she is, just standing beside the Jackal.
Yeah, you got enough editors that I got to think that this was a deliberate choice.
It obviously was, and I don't...
Or that we'll see a flashback at some point that will explain this. We have to, right?
And Professor Miles Warren, who you see at least 3 of standing beside the Jackal, was the Jackal before. So is that Professor Warren under the hood?
Could be.
I really don't know. I don't know. So
yeah,
then we go.
Okay.
Then we go back to the hospital where, his father is deteriorating, and Spider-Man is rushing to the hospital and to argue with Jameson about why they should or shouldn't use new technology. And then he has a conversation with Peter about something he wants out of him. He wants from the hospital. And Peter rushes back to get a very cherished valuable from his house. And of course, there's an emergency as he's rushing back to the hospital. And he has to stop and save people. And he drops the valuable. By the time he gets back to the hospital, they choose not to use the new technology. And at that point, Mr. Jameson is dead and he's too late. And of course, Jonah blames Peter Parker.
Of course he does.
Of course he does. And then there's a backup story, which is really interesting. And that's a very good story. It lays the groundwork for everything that's coming. What are we calling this thing? The clone conspiracy, the clone cycle?
Yeah, the clone conspiracy.
The clone conspiracy. It lays the groundwork for it with all the new technology. You just get that one page with the Jackal and all the clones. It really, we're doing a good job laying the story here.
Yeah, and the thing with the Kingpin's really good.
Yeah, this backup story has Kingpin because what he does is the Jackal brings Vanessa back to life, which if anybody has either read the comic books or seen the Netflix series, you know how important Vanessa is to the Kingpin. And apparently the Jackal needs some funding and needs some assistance. And the Kingpin does something that the Jackal doesn't expect, which is he kills her. Because the Kingpin realizes that she's not real. Whatever the Jackal has made here isn't real. Which I really didn't expect. I thought he would accept it. And
yeah, but the Kingpin, I can see him being that ruthless.
I think first off, he didn't want to be in debt to the Jackal, and secondly, he just wasn't buying it.
Yeah, and none of us should, if you think about it.
Apparently not, man. And when all this is done, the Kingpin started waging war on the Jackal, and dude. The Jackal made an enemy. And again, this is something we talked about last week. We've got the Kingpin sitting here in an office with all kinds of power and money. And last week he was broke somewhere. I don't know, man. I can't keep up with what Kingpin is and isn't.
Maybe the Kingpin's a clone.
Maybe there's multiple Kingpins running around, man.
Maybe everyone's a clone. Maybe Peter Parker's a clone. Maybe there's a Peter Parker and another Peter Parker, and we're not sure which one the real one is, but
dude, we did that years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. This story still makes more sense than the Spider-Man 2099 story.
Dude.
So
at least they wrapped up the 2099 story with this issue.
Yeah. So Spider-Man 2099 number 16. Turns out we found out at the end of the last issue, J. Jonah Jameson's the CEO of Alchemax. That explains why Alchemax and all the companies hate heroes so much. He tells Fury to get ready to attack the heroes by drawing them into a trap in order to save Captain America. Superheroes fight other superheroes while Spider-Man goes to confront Jameson. Turns out Jameson is upset with Spider-Man because he's been alive this whole time. And the implication is that it's this new U procedure, that at some point J. Jonah Jameson takes this new U procedure and it keeps, when they say dead no more, they mean it. I guess that's what I extrapolated from it.
No.
Is that not it?
Not read the whole book?
I read the whole book.
He's a Skrull.
Well, I was getting there.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you were saying it was the new U procedure. I thought it was
right.
Did you read the book? Anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say, or maybe it's because he's a Skrull. Maybe it's because they're all Skrulls.
Sorry, go ahead.
They're all Skrulls. Yeah, as we find out, all the heroes in Jameson are all Skrulls. This blows their mind because they were brainwashed to believe that they were who they thought they were, and they've been like Manchurian candidated into this whole thing. Upon this revelation, Jameson lets Spider-Man leave with Captain America. They go back to the present, and thank God this story's over.
Yeah. This was a better issue than the previous 2099 issues have been.
Yeah.
You had some action. You had some interchanging. You had some fights. You had the story resolved. So
you had the big twist, which was the scrolls.
Yeah, so it was better, but it wasn't great. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Spidey number 11 came out. Good art on the cover. It's entertaining. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on to X-Men. We finally are into our X-Men events leading up to, I guess, the whole Inhuman versus X-Men thing, starting with Death of X number 1.
Death of X number 1 is finally here. It is finally arrived.
It should have arrived months ago when we first got the all different Marvel Universe, but okay.
And I will explain this. I will take some time and explain this because this is a big event and it's leading to a big event. So we'll take a moment here. This book, these 4 issues take place immediately following Secret Wars. If you go Secret War, because we had Secret Wars and the books jumped 8 months.
Right.
And this takes place Secret Wars plus a few weeks. Okay.
Right.
So it's not, if you go Secret Wars plus 8 months, this is like Secret Wars plus a few weeks. That's
right.
It says,
it's right as the universe has been reset.
Right. So we open with the Blackbird flying to what's the island? Muir Island.
Muir Island, yeah.
Muir Island. And the Terrigen Mist is still there. Meanwhile, the Inhumans are flying to somewhere in Japan, Matsumata, Japan.
Yeah.
And the second Terrigen Mist, at this point, there are 2 Terrigen Mist, is there over Japan. The Inhumans are extremely happy to see it there. The X-Men are a little confused as to what's happened to Muir Island.
Yeah, they don't recognize it as Terrigen Mist yet.
They don't recognize it's Terrigen Mist, and they don't recognize that it's dangerous.
This is how they find out it's dangerous.
Yes. The only one with any common sense here is Ilana Ruffspin, who wants to run for her life.
And Gold Balls.
And Gold Balls, yes. They both want to run now. Because Gold Balls immediately starts getting sick, and they're the only ones who want to run.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll notice this is the first time since Secret Wars that we have seen any of these characters.
Yep.
Have we seen Bobby Drake?
Yeah, he's been around.
The other Iceman has. Has Bobby Drake been around?
Yeah, he's been with Nightcrawler and Storm's X-Men.
And Magic has, but the other...
yeah, he's with Storm's X-Men.
And Gold Balls has. But we haven't seen the Cuckoos, Emma Frost, or Cyclops since then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cyclops and Gold Balls immediately begin getting sick.
Right.
And as they try to begin investigating Muir Island, they start wandering around, and as they get inside the building, they start finding bodies that are dead.
Yes.
And the Terrigen Mist lands on the island of Japan, where it's attacked by Hydra. I wonder if at this point, if it's a Red Skull Hydra or if it's a Captain America Hydra. Actually, I guess it's pre-Pleasant Hill, so it's a Red Skull Hydra.
Yeah, it is.
But if she went back and changed it, does that make it a Captain America Hydra?
I don't know. Possibly.
Okay.
Considering how close Captain America is to the leadership, sure.
So anyway, the Inhumans take out Hydra pretty quick. And then the Cuckoos realize that there's someone alive. And all of Jamie Madrox's clone, of course, he's the multiple man, so he can clone himself. And all the clones are dead, except for the original Jamie Madrox, who they go and find. And at that point, Scott tells Scott it's the Terrigen Mist. Let me back up a second, make sure I didn't miss something here. He tells Scott it's the Terrigen Mist that has done this. And it's a pretty gory scene because there's a lot of dead bodies in the building and a lot of dead bodies, a lot of dead clones outside, dozens of dead clones outside. And at that point, Emma has Magic get all the kids out of there, and it's just her and Scott, and they go inside to just upload all the information to Hank and begin talking to Hank. And at that point, Scott passes out from the Terrigen Mist. Just kind of passes out there on the floor, and because he's pretty sick from it also. And we cut back to the Inhumans who are still fighting. Are they fighting? Are they? Yeah.
Yeah, they're fighting the the Hydra agents.
Yep, they're still fighting with the Hydra agents. And they got this new Inhuman who has the ability to just kind of freeze everybody in time and space. It's a pretty interesting ability.
That's useful.
Yeah, it is pretty useful. So
yeah, it's a useful plot device to have in that particular moment.
It's a pretty interesting plot device that we'll come back to in the future, I'm sure. So then Magic and Bobby come back to Emma, and Emma's just kind of standing there alone. And then Cyclops shows up and finishes her sentence for her and insists he's fine. Suddenly he's not sick anymore. And they begin discussing what they're going to do. And
I think I just caught on to what happened there.
At that point, shoot me an IM and we'll see if you figured it out. At that point, the Inhumans are real happy because they have a new Inhumans, and X-Men realize that they have to destroy the Terrigen Mist and destroy the Inhumans. And we're off to a war. It's a good book. It's a launching point.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like we should have gotten the story 8 months ago and it not been a flashback, but yeah. Okay.
That's exactly what happened.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Because someone lost their mind.
Yeah. Well, it was fragile to begin with, but no, man, I'm sure the story's going to be good. I just feel like we should have gotten it. I don't understand why it's out of sync with continuity.
Because what they wanted to do is they wanted to go. Let me think about this. They wanted to launch the new universe, Civil War, Death of X, IVX. Is what they wanted to do, and keep the storylines going. And then basically IVX straight into what's our event that's launching this week?
Secret Empire.
Secret Empire. So they're just rolling along.
Okay. Well, all right then. Yeah, it was all right. It was pretty good. I'm interested to see the next 3 issues and then get straight into IVX, which you've read, haven't you?
I've read them all. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And it really gets good. It does. I was really entertained. I thought I knew how it would end, and the ending caught me completely off guard. I was really surprised by it, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the whole series.
Cool.
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men number 14. Back at the Hellfire Club, Psylocke is attempting to read this guy's mind. She's able to. It's the guy she captured from the Someday Corporation. She's able to figure out that the sleeper agents that they were attacked by are going to perform an attack on some innocent humans somewhere. And I think it was an anti-mutant demonstration.
Yeah.
So she says, okay, we've got all the information we need. Let's go. And Magneto says, well, who gave the orders? To which Psylocke says, his mind's full of psychic booby traps. It's going to kill him if I go get that information. To which she storms off saying, we've got what we need to know to prevent this tragedy from happening. We don't need to kill this guy, this mutant, just because you want to know who gave him the order. To which Monet says, move aside, I'll handle it. Later, Psylocke's having some tea, and then she's going to go stop this sleeper attack. Her and Magneto are not on good terms. They haven't been on good terms. It's like at the end of every issue, Psylocke and Magneto get in an argument, and she leaves and then comes back. She's been talking about leaving the group forever. Anyway, Magneto goes to the Someday Corporation, finds out it was Exodus who's been doing all this with the Someday Corporation. I don't know who that is, nor do I care. They have a heated fight about the nature of fanaticism. Psylocke stops the sleeper attack. Back at the Hellfire Club, Magneto has come back from defeating Exodus, and he's, in a celebratory mood. Psylocke tells everybody she's done and she's leaving. And Magneto takes all the mutant refugees to Zorn's monastery to keep them. And okay, whatever. I forgot what the point of this book was.
I enjoyed this book.
This book sucks.
This book was very good.
It sucks.
Book was very good.
No, it sucks.
All right. First off, it was very good because I enjoy, and we discussed this last month or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. I enjoy seeing Magneto move the pieces around on the chessboard to keep the mutant race alive. I enjoyed the fight between him and Exodus. I enjoyed the interchange between him and Psylocke. At one point, you see the verbal exchange between him and Psylocke. Then at the end of the page, at the end of the book, the last page of the book, you see while they're having a verbal exchange, they're also having a psychic exchange.
Yeah, I didn't understand the point of that either.
I enjoyed that. Okay,
can you explain that?
Do what?
Explain why they're having two different conversations.
Because they had one for the public and one for themselves.
No, I understand. That's inherent. But why?
Because she wanted to say one thing publicly, and then privately she wanted Magneto to know, I'm looking over your shoulder, and if you step out of line, I'm gonna come kill you.
Is that not implied?
Apparently not.
Okay. I think it was needless dialogue that didn't need to be there.
I thought it was very good storytelling that did need to be there.
Okay. Well, this book sucks.
I thought it was very good. Now, secondly, and you can disagree with me on that also, is Marvel has rotated artists on and off books to the point to where they have almost made artists unimportant. And in this book, besides the fact you have a lot of women walking around in corsets, especially in the just watching Greg Land draw Magneto and in a few pages in the fight scene between Magneto and Exodus, Greg Land's art in this book is spectacular.
That is one positive aspect of this book, is that Greg Land's art is very good.
And Greg Land makes the case as to why you need good artists or why you need a consistent artist on a book. And I understand a while back, I think this is what, issue 14?
Mm-hmm.
A while back, they had to do a filler issue with another artist because Greg Land got behind. I understand. I don't think he did the annual. I think someone else did the annual because he couldn't keep up. Cool. Okay. I don't care if he doesn't do the annual. But his artwork on this book is amazing. And that's why you need to keep an artist consistently on his book, is because when I see the Uncanny X-Men coming, I know Greg Land's going to do it. And I know I'm going to get this artwork. And I may not agree with the story. I may not think the story is that great, but I know I'm going to get his art. And it's almost worth reading for his art. That's how good it is.
No, I agree with you. At some point, and I think you can do filler issues to give artists a break, and you can do stuff like that. The problem is these big major events that have got to absolutely ship on time, they can't ship on time because of the artists. So I understand why they're moving to a strategy of rotating artists.
And I understand that, but here's the thing.
Jack Kirby drew how many books a month?
I'm with you. if you've known Secret Empire is going to ship for however long now,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 6 months, 8 months, and you gave the artist a 6 month head start, how can he not ship the flipping thing on time?
That's what I'm saying. And so when they're not able to do that, I can understand why Marvel's not real happy with artists at the moment.
I'm with you, but
And I understand your point too. Yeah, there's a balance there.
yeah, there should be. And just completely devaluing the artist isn't the way to do it. There's an article on the website. Yes, I actually managed to post an article on the website. It's an amazing concept. There's an article on the website about this, where DC and Marvel both have this problem.
Yeah,
And
I read the article.
Did you read it? What
Yeah.
did you think of it?
I get what they're saying, and yes, Marvel needs to do more to promote their artists because they're not doing anything to promote the artists. Even when they're having problems like this, they need to be promoting the artists.
I agree. So,
anyway, it should be a big deal that Greg Land is doing this art. It should be a big deal when Alex Maleev is doing a Daredevil book. It should be a big deal when Esad Ribick's doing a book.
And here's the thing. I just posted. I'm actually, next week, I'm going to tell you how many alternate covers there are for April and May. So obviously, and I looked it up today, how much they're paying an artist. Depending on the artist and the cover in the book, these guys are getting anywhere from $500 to a few $1,000s for an alternate cover.
Yeah.
So they're paying the artist for the cover. Okay. I mean, it's not like these things are cheap.
Mm-mm.
So they're paying artists a lot of money for these alternate covers. So obviously the artwork is important enough that they'll pay for an alternate cover. And there's dozens of them out there every month.
So dozens of alternate covers.
So they obviously value the artwork enough to put out alternate covers, but they don't value it enough to put it in the interior. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. Like, how about maybe 6 fewer alternate covers and some really good interior art? Not to say that their interior art's not good. They've got great artists doing this stuff, but you should be paying them and you should be promoting them.
I completely agree. Anyway, all new Wolverine number 13. This is a good book.
It was a good book. I've enjoyed this whole series. I really like Laura Kinney as Wolverine.
This is very good. What this is about is Laura Kinney was raised she's a clone who was raised basically she was raised to fight.
She's a living weapon.
Yeah.
She's raised in a Weapon X facility.
Yes, thank you. And apparently her feral state is activated by a chemical. And what happens is when it's activated, it's deactivated by another chemical. And the chemical that it's deactivated with shows up at her house in a box in the mail, which completely freaks her out because she knows if the deactivation chemical shows up, someone is sending her someone is going to activate the chemical, which completely freaks her out.
Scent.
Yeah. So she just loads up her sister and the Wolverine and the
Jonathan, the misunderstood Wolverine.
Yeah. And the parrot.
And a pelican statue.
And the pelican, thank you. She just loads them all up in the car and they go on a road trip.
Yeah.
And they wind up in this little town in California.
She's trying to get away from everyone so that in the event that she is triggered and blacks out and starts killing people, she'll just be in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. The problem is in the middle of nowhere, somebody drops the chemicals. And a few minutes later, everyone in the town is dead, which is just all bad.
Yeah. It was a really good book. I'm interested to see where the storyline goes.
Yeah, they introduced some new characters from her origin, did some flashbacks with her origin. It was very good. It was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed this whole thing. I really hope they keep her as Wolverine for a while.
Yeah. Hey, before you get into champions, let me let me, and this is gonna I'm gonna talk about it at the end. I actually had two classic reads, and I'm going to tell you where to find them at the end. But if you look at alternate covers, when you look at the alternate covers, you're going to see a lot of champions alternate covers. Good gosh, are you going to see a lot of champions alternate covers? And a lot of them, if you don't know who the original champions are going to be confusing, because you're going to see all these covers that have Hercules, Black Widow, Ghost Rider, Angel, and Iceman on them. And you're going to think, what does that have to do with Price Teen China? That is the original champions from the late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
So if you see an alternate cover with Black Widow, Hercules, Ghost Rider, Angel, and Iceman, and maybe a combination of the new Miss Marvel, the new Hulk, Nova, any of the new champions mixed with the old champions, you'll understand what that alternate cover is. And that's there's all kinds of combinations of them. They're just, maybe you'll see the new champions and Ghost Rider, or maybe you'll see the old champions and one of the new champions in the alternate. I mean, there's just all kinds of variations on them on the alternate covers. And if you don't understand who the old champions are, you don't understand why do you have the new champions and Black Widow with them? It doesn't make any sense if you don't understand who the old champions are.
Okay.
And we're going to discuss it in the classic read, where to find them and who they are, and et cetera, et cetera. So go ahead and tell us about the new champions in the 616 universe portion of our Marvel Unlimited podcast.
So in the in the aftermath of the second superhero civil war, the three kid Avengers, who are Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, what's his name? Sam, what is it?
Sam Alexander.
Sam Alexander, who is Nova, and Miles Morales, who is Spider-Man, have quit the Avengers and are reevaluating their place in the superhero community and their purpose as heroes. So they've decided to meet up, and they're going to put a team together of their own heroes, their own age, to instill a new confidence in heroes for the public good. They team up with Amadeus Cho as the Hulk and Viv Vision, which I guess gives us an idea of what happens after the Visions book. Maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Apparently,
I don't know. We only got one issue left. But before they can really introduce one another, they find a group of teenage girls being held against their will. They find the location. They work together to save the girls and take down the bad guy. And Kamala gives a nice speech to the cameras about fighting for a better tomorrow. It was your typical opening, here's your new team book, except it's all your favorite, Marvel teenage heroes. Again, you got Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Nova, Amadeus Cho as the Hulk, and Viv Vision. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good first issue. It was kind of predictable. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with this. This was just an introduction, put all the, here's all the players in this book sort of thing. Here's your cast. It was all introduction. I'm interested to see where it goes when they get into actual stories.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too.
I mean, them knocking on the Vision's door, the Vision just materializing through the door, none of them wanting to talk to the Vision. The Viv coming up through the floor to greet him.
It was funny because he just sticks his face out the door instead of opening the door, which would just unnerve anybody.
Yeah, it was. That's like 2 or 3 pages of real good comedy right there.
It is. Mark Waid's writing it, so it's going to be good. You got Humberto Ramos doing the art. I think this is going to be a good book.
And there's an alternate cover there that I'm going to put on the website by itself at some point. Actually, what I'm probably going to do, there's dozens of covers I've posted. you can spend a lot of time looking at posters or covers over the last 3 or 4 days that I'm going to put on the website, because there's a cover that somebody drew, and it's like the new champions are standing there, and below them is a lake, and it's got the old champions reflected in the lake. Dude, it's a totally cool cover. Totally cool, man. It really, really looks good.
Oh, that's neat. I like that idea.
Yeah, it's really well done, and it really, really looks good. I'm coming. I'm telling y'all, the website's coming. It's like this close, just this close. Anyway, on to Squadron Supreme number, who cares? 12. 12. Okay, they're all still fighting. I do care. I just wish it would go somewhere.
Yeah, that's how I feel about this book too.
I
remember 11 issues ago when they killed Namor. What was the point of the book after that? I don't know, because it's been waffling ever since.
Yeah, I mean, you read this issue and you're just like, you're waiting for something to happen. I mean, you're just sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting, and the art's good. And the art's good. And okay.
Yeah, like this story, we're what, 3 or 4 issues into this story arc, and it's just them running around the Baxter building fighting each other.
And again, okay, now let's take the flip side of this. Okay, let's reverse the discussion we were having, the argument we were having 5 minutes ago. Here's a book with great art and no plot movement. Okay?
Yeah.
I love good art. This is good art. Okay, this is very good art. You know, those scenes with Jim Hammond, all right, are really good scenes, really good art drawn.
Yeah,
but
I like the introduction of Jim Hammond.
But you're not taking the story anywhere. I mean, it's just at some point you're just like, let's take it somewhere. Let's move it along, and it's just not, because they're still in the Baxter building. They're still fighting over the time machine. At some point, Power Woman, I think it is, kills a couple of SHIELD agents. She disappears. More SHIELD agents show up. They blame her identical twin. Tundra and somebody get arrested and blamed for it. Tundra and who?
I don't even know.
Tundra and somebody.
Oh, the speedster.
Yeah. The Wiz, whatever.
Yeah, something.
Jim Hammond starts preaching to him because he's all mad at him.
Yeah.
Nighthawk and somebody are chasing whoever into the tunnels. I don't really care. I mean, because really, it's just not going anywhere.
Yeah, it has the same problem that Spider-Man 2099 has, in that they're doing too much at one time.
Hyperion and Dr. Spectrum are still stuck in a astral state.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Somehow they got stuck in the time machine and it didn't work properly. We go back to New Attilan right before Namor dies, and then he's going up to fight the Squadron Supreme, and Hyperion and Dr. Spectrum are there right before he dies, and the book ends. And there you go.
I just don't know where this book's going, and I'm kind of starting to not care.
I mean, I know where it's going. They're going to bring Namor back to life, but I knew that 4 issues ago, and it's not getting me there fast because there's no character development, there's no plot movement, there's no nothing, and it looks good.
And they keep bringing back little bits of every storyline that they've done over the last 12 issues, and it's getting messy.
Yeah. So, I mean, and all of it looks good. I mean, that Namor stuff looked good. New Attilan looked good. But just move the book along, man.
Right. Like, what's the point of this book? What's the story here? Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know. Anywho, Doctor Strange number 12. Tell us about it.
So there was that creature that we were introduced to in Doctor Strange's basement in the last couple issues. So he's finally decided to give himself a name as he's torturing people in this hospital. He names himself Mr. Misery because that's not silly at all. So Doctor Strange shows up at this hospital to stop him. There's this whole bit about how, used to Doctor Strange could just wave his hands around and banish him to another dimension, and now he has to use all these different gizmos and magic artifacts to get anything done. Afterwards, Strange is hanging out at the bar with no door, which is if you haven't read the earlier issues of Doctor Strange, it's literally a tiki bar with no door because it's for magicians only and they teleport in and out, which I think is really cool. Stephen Strange finds out Baron Mordo's back in town. Mordo is working with Dormammu again, like usual. Mordo actually shows up on Doctor Strange's doorstep. They start fighting in the street, and then Nightmare shows up.
Yeah, and basically, if you read the end of this page, all of his villains know that Doctor Strange is weak at this point, and I think they're all lining up to take a shot at him.
Yeah, they're all coming for him. They realize that he's in a weakened state, and so they're all coming for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad to see the Empirical story's finally done and to get back to actually doing Doctor Strange stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right. We'll see where it goes. It's a new story, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Tell me about Cage #1.
I'm
just gonna go ahead and tell you, I hate this book. It's awful.
I won't say I hate it. I will say it's not for me. How about that?
Okay, that's fine, I guess, but it feels like blackface. It feels like a caricature of this character.
It feels like something Scotty Young would do. Yes.
I don't know, but it's real silly. Like, the reason I say this is not that the story is bad or anything, but it's Luke Cage if Luke Cage were a Saturday morning cartoon for 6-year-olds.
Yes.
It's really over the top, and the art's not bad. It's not my favorite style of art. It's just kind of silly, but it's done in a Fat Albert kind of way that, I don't know, I might, and I'm me, somebody might find this offensive.
This is one of those things where you just realize every book isn't for us.
Yeah, I guess.
This isn't for me.
In fact, I didn't even finish this because it was that bad.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Scarlet Witch.
If you guys like it, yeah, if y'all like it, email us. But man, I thought it was kind of terrible.
Yeah.
What was not terrible is the Scarlet Witch book, which has been really good from the get-go.
And then it got better this issue.
Yeah, this issue in particular. Wanda finally finds herself in Serbia, tracking down her family like she's been meaning to do this whole time. She meets with this priest who, after some persuading by Wanda, she literally blows up his whole church. Reveals to Wanda what happened to her parents and how she, as a baby, came into the possession of the High Evolutionary. Now, if you don't know who the High Evolutionary is, or what Mount Wundagore is, or the Knights of the Eagles, or something like that?
The Knights of Wundagore.
Well, yeah, the Knights of Wundagore. If you don't know who that is, just Google it. It's kind of silly. They're trying to make it less silly, but yeah, anyway, just Google it. So after Wanda basically tortures this guy for information, he tells her to find Dasha, which is her mother's old sidekick. She goes to find Dasha. Dasha tells Wanda about her mother and that her aunt may still be alive, and they both head out to find her aunt, which they find, and that's the end of the issue. But yeah, we're finally getting into where the story was supposed to go. And yes, it took 11 issues to get there, but it's been making progress every issue. Unlike Squadron Supreme, which is just kind of waffling. And I feel like Uncanny X-Men's waffling. And Spider-Man in 2099 is waffling. The art's fantastic. The writing's really good. Yeah, if you're not reading this, I don't know what your problem is.
Yeah, this is a really good book. And as you're right, it's all been good. And the whole it's the issues have taken side trips and side stories, but the whole thing has been building up to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And each issue is kind of its own, at least up to this point, has been its own story, beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
You know, it's been her solving magic mysteries around the globe. So this book is far more focused than the others have been.
Right.
Really good. Fantastic. This is something I'm going to go out and buy in a collected edition at some point.
Yes.
So tell us about Deadpool Back in Black #1.
No.
No?
No. This is a Deadpool flashback to the 90s. Peter Parker's having a hard time right after Civil War. He's in a bell tower, depressed for some reason. Is it a Clintar? Is it a Clintar?
He's not depressed. He's trying to get rid of the Venom symbiote.
I don't care.
Because
Venom symbiote finds Deadpool. It's another reason for a Deadpool book. I don't care.
Dude, I like this book.
Okay, then tell us about it.
Okay, so in the beginning, you have, because the Clintar are susceptible to sound, the tolling of the bell drives the thing crazy and injures it, and it leaves Peter Parker. And so it just kind of festers under the floorboards of this church for a while. And it's funny because what you don't see in that original Spider-Man, what was it? Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man #1 from the 80s. There's a scene where Peter Parker's like trying to escape the church, and there's this mom and her kid, and you know, the kid's like, "Mommy, a naked man in church," and the mom's like, "Oh, not again." And that's funny. You've got a janitor of the church who finds the Clintar interesting and is like feeding it while it recovers. Eventually, what's her name? Killer Thrill shows up. You remember her from the Drax books. She's hunting the Clintar. Deadpool's fighting I don't know who this dude is, but he's fighting somebody, and he gets the Venom symbiote and Deadpool cross paths. It attaches himself to Deadpool because they're familiar with one. Well, they're not familiar with one another, but they're drawn to one another. Yeah, and it's just Deadpool is in possession of the Venom symbiote now, and he's being chased by a Killer Thrill. And there's a bunch of jokes along the way. I thought it was funny.
Okay, I'm just over this deluge of Deadpool books.
Did you finish reading it?
I don't think so.
Dude, it's actually not bad.
Okay.
I'm with you. I'm over all the Deadpool books, but this one's actually pretty good.
Okay. If you say so.
Particularly when you look at all the different editor's notes and you realize how they tied the continuity all together so that this actually happens. You know, there's references to the Defenders and all kinds of stuff in there.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
How did you feel about Deadpool and the Mercs for Money?
#4.
Was it #4? I thought it was #1.
It's #4.
Oh.
They're using that #1 trick when they start a new storyline.
That's right, because they put a big bold red #1 on there, and it gets people to buy it.
Yes,
thinking it's a #1.
Yes,
because #1s sell better than 25 or 37 or 142.
Yeah,
and it's a whole nother problem for Marvel. They can't just call everything a #1.
No. So Deadpool is headed to Umbrella Dynamic headquarters by himself because the original Mercs have abandoned him. And
gee, I wonder why.
there's some pretty funny. There's a lot of funny jokes in this one too, and he's on his way in there, killing lots of people as he goes. He fools their technology, so he's suddenly in the control room by himself. It's pretty good. He actually, did you read this?
No.
Why not? Why did you read the other Deadpool when you didn't read this one?
Because Back in Black sounded interesting.
Okay.
I haven't been reading Mercs for Money, and I don't intend to.
Okay, so he finally frees the young lady he came to free, which is the Megasonic Teenage Warhead. And
that's a person?
Yeah, it's a teenage girl who I believe was one of the mutants, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And then Titania, I believe is who that is, shows up and starts stomping Wolverine, and then another girl shows up, another young lady. Anyway, then it's a full-on brawl, and Deadpool winds up getting stomped and thrown out. And finally, he is rescued by the new Mercs for Money after he is thrown outside and hanging upside down in a tree, which is El Mascara, Gorilla Man, Domino, Machine Man, and what's the monkey that fires the guns?
That
was in
Hit Monkey.
Hit Monkey and Hit Monkey.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hit Monkey. I love Hit Monkey.
Yeah, Hit Monkey's going to be in the next issue. So they're all there to rescue Deadpool.
That it?
That's it. It was very funny. It was good. This book has kind of hit its stride. The first 3 issues were really bad, and I really hated on the first 3 issues. This issue got better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And why in the world did you put us reviewing The Enchanted Tiki Room? Did you actually read this book?
Okay, so The Enchanted Tiki Room, if you saw it and went, what the heck is that? It's another one of those Disney Kingdoms books. And what they're doing is it's Disney's effort to write a little lore and backstory to some of their more popular attractions in their parks. We had Haunted Mansion, which is well known. This is the Enchanted Tiki Room, which if you've ever been to Disney is like a Polynesian restaurant and bar, but also has like an animatronic story that goes on involving a bunch of parrots. This tries to shed some backstory onto that. I gave up on it after I got to the part with 3 parrots talking in South American accents. It's really weird. It's super weird. There's talking plants and an old lady on this island, and the island's alive and it's luring people there. It's super weird. If you want to read it, fine. I'm not going to continue reading this book, but
dude, I gave up on like page 3.
Dude, it's so bizarre. And I'm just the whole time I'm going, what is happening? What in the heck is happening? Why are these parrots talking in Mexican accents? And after that, I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't deal with this.
That's one of those things you need to eat, like shrooms and smoke half a joint and then read.
Yeah, like you gotta.
Oh, I didn't say that out loud, did I?
You gotta be high out of your mind to enjoy this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention it because it was there.
Okay.
What was your favorite book this week?
You know, I'm looking at the list trying to decide. I'm gonna go with Champions #1.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, it was good. I actually did enjoy Back in Black, but Champions was probably my favorite. It's the one I was most. It was the one I was most interested in.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
these Marvel fanfare books that we had dumped this week.
Mm-hmm.
These are pretty interesting. They were kind of a graphic novel of their day, and they were like one shots.
Yeah.
And there's actually some pretty good stories in there because they were like standalone books, and sometimes they didn't fit in with continuity. It was just, they kind of give an artist and a writer a book and say, here you go. And some of those pretty good reads, man.
Okay, cool. Do you have a classic read this week?
I do, and let me explain to you. This will take a second. And I was wondering, I love this Champions book. I always did. And you got to understand, okay? This is 1975. All right. Now try and follow me on this. I'm buying them off a spinner rack. Okay. So in 1975, I would be 11 years old. All right. And I'm buying them off a spinner rack. And I don't have a pull list. Okay. You know, I maybe should have had direct shipping at that point. So I'm buying them off a spinner rack, and I'm trying to keep up with when these books come out. So follow these dates with me. All right. October of 75, issue 1. January of 76, issue 2. February of 76, issue 3. March of 76, issue 4. April of 76, issue 5. June of 76, issue 4. August of 76, issue 7. That was issue 6. I'm sorry. August 76, issue 7. October of 76, issue 8. December of 76, issue 9. January of 77, issue 10. February of 77, issue 11. March of 77, issue 12. May of 77, issue 13. July of 77, issue 14. September of 77, issue 15. November of 77, issue 16. And then January of 78, issue 17. That thing went from shipping, sometimes it was shipping monthly, sometimes it was shipping every other month, sometimes it was shipping quarterly.
Yeah.
No wonder it got canceled, man. You couldn't figure out when the thing was on the newsstand.
Right. Which is, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's not selling, so they start publishing it quarterly, so no one ever knows when it's there, and it continues to decline, and they cancel it because that's how things work then.
Dude, sometimes Marv Wolfman did it. Sometimes Chris Claremont did it. Sometimes Jack Kirby did it. I mean, Dave Cockrum did some issues. Gil Kane did some issues.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the original Champions, which, you know, obviously we had Champions #1 come out this week. This is the original Champions, Hercules, Black Widow, as we discussed earlier. You know, Ghost Rider, Hercules. Basically, they had these characters laying around. None of them had a solo book. None of them really, they were all popular, but the X-Men had been canceled at this point. At some point, they relaunched the original X-Men, but you know, Iceman and Angel weren't back in it, kind of laying around. And, you know, if you listen to the writers I just said, you know, Marv Wolfman, Gil Kane, Dan Heck, Chris Claremont, dude, Jack Kirby. I mean, dude, this is a who's who of writers from the mid 70s. Yeah. And they just kind of picked them up and started working on them. And, you know, it's obviously under the Champions. It's a good read. It's good art, good read. You know, it's there. And when you see all these alternate covers, there you go.
And so you just go to what, your browse tab?
Yep.
Type Champions, not Champions. Yeah, there it is. Champions 1975 and 1978.
Yep.
Cool. All right, dude. That's good to know.
Yeah, maybe next week I'll come back and talk about the Iron. I got to read the Iron Fist book. And if you go back and read those Iron Fist stories from Marvel Premiere, they're actually really close to the Netflix series.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they stuck to the material pretty well. They always do.
I had no idea.
They tweak a few things to modernize it, of course, but yeah, it's fairly close to the material.
Yeah, with the Meachums and anyway. Yeah, I had no idea, man.
Yeah. Well, that pretty much wraps us up for the evening. If you want to get in touch with us, please email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. Please visit our brand new, all different website.
www.6monthsbehind.com.
And Pat, do you have any wisdom for our true believers this week before we go?
Not really, but if you're going to tear down your website, don't have a concussion after you do it.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.